Mitch from PickDogs.com here with Steve Monahan. We got Rod and Chris, the Puck Dogs, with us. Got action pretty much across the board here today. We got final day of the NFL season, which means I don't know what we're going to do going forward. Of course, we got Steve Monahan growing the beard here for the Sunday show. This is the post-Christmas look. Then we got Chris. Looks like he might have just rolled out of bed. And, of course, Rod here with us as well. Rod and I, the well-groomed ones of the bunch. We've got, like I said, Week 17 NFL. We got still, NHL still rolling right along. College basketball heading into conference play. I'm looking ahead to the schedule later on this week. And certainly a lot going on there, and a lot of conference matchups starting. Pac-12, I see some matchups. I see the Big East starting to get conference matchups. So I'm going to be covering all that stuff, and then of course, the NBA. I mean, this is a sport that really has it right. This is 15, 20 years ago. Maybe more than that at this point. This is a sport that maybe in the 70s looked almost dead in the water, and even the post. Jordan era possibly could have slid, but they never let it do it. It just gets bigger and bigger and better, and I think this is a league that understands rules and rule changes and how you make the game better and not. I mean, the call in the Ohio State Clemson last night for the targeting. I mean, this is consistent with every targeting call that we've seen, since they've instituted that rule. So it's not, I don't agree with it. We don't like the call, but it certainly is consistent with everything. The other call with the, the fumble, the scoop and score, whatever, the referee who was the replay referee who came into the booth and the television, in the commentators, he didn't hesitate for a half a second. Herb Street and Fowler are like, this is a fumble, this is a touchdown, let's see how they overturn it. He didn't even pause. He didn't even say, maybe they see it this way. He didn't say it at all. He said, you guys are both wrong. This is an incomplete pass, and that's the rule. And we see that from these replay officials since day one. Since the day Mike Pereira first went into the booth, he was the first guy to be this guy, right? We've seen it since day one. These guys are never wrong. Okay, never, ever, ever wrong. Sometimes they'll say, this guy missed the call. Sometimes they'll say like this. But when it comes to the replays, they've never been wrong. I mean, it's about maybe once they've thought the replay guy has missed it, and all the ones I've ever seen, these guys are like 999 and 1 in these replays. And I don't even think it's disputable. Let's get to the real big question here. Steve Monahan, this one's for you. 4th down and 1. You're on the opponent's 25-yard line. You're trailing by 5. You throw one into the back of the end zone and dart for a touchdown. How great of a call is that? I mean, is Ryan Day looking at an NFL job quickly, sooner rather than later?
I got to tell you, I was really impressed with Ryan Day. Even in the post game, his demeanor. I think he's a real good coach. This game was a lot closer than I think Mitch and I predicted. Great game, man. Really, Ohio State comes out early and really sets the tone. But you got to give Clemson credit. And, the commentators all night, and you just alluded to it, was the targeting where really the game kind of momentum shifted. And, we actually thought Lawrence was probably going to be knocked out of the game, based on that initial hit, right? But what a great game. It's unfortunate Ohio State got the calls against them. But it really was targeting. I mean, by the letter of the law, he lowered his head and they made contact.
It's not even a disputable thing.
Right.
I mean, the guy who was thrown out of the game, he didn't even argue, and he wasn't sulking about anything. He just walked off the field. I mean, we've seen targeting calls where the guy's complaining about it and anything like that, and where they go to the replay and they're just like, no, it's not targeting and all that stuff. We didn't see any of that in this one. And it wasn't because, whatever. It was because this is the rule that they have played by, interpreted exactly the way it's been interpreted in every other game since they interpreted it. Does the rule need to be changed with intentional and unintentional targeting? Should it be like running into and roughing the punter? I honestly believe that is. Chris, if you could tilt your camera a drop, man. It's like you're falling out of the picture. There you go. Well, like maybe even a little more if you could, but that's okay. It's good.
And then and then on the fumble scoop, I thought it was an incomplete pass. I did. I don't think he had full possession on it, but just jumping forward, Etienne was quiet in the first half for the most part, but what a back he is. You talked about how quick he is, man. This guy really stepped up in the second half.
Clearly the fastest running back I've ever seen, and I knew this coming out of high school. There's been 2 or 3 recruiting battles over the years, and Steve's heard me cry about them when we've lost them, and this was the one. To me, of all the recruiting battles that Miami's ever lost, this was the one that I think that the Canes fans, as a group, cried the loudest over, was losing this guy, because this was the guy we wanted. We knew that this was the guy who could lead us back to a championship. He's that good. How Trevor Lawrence gets the offensive MVP, I don't see it in that game when this guy scores 3 touchdowns, one of them a dead breakaway, where he slips tackles by, fractions of an inch. And he's, he creates that seam that we talked about on yesterday's show, that if you give him that tiny quarter of an inch, he is gone. And we saw it yesterday. I thought that Dobbins on the breakaway touchdown was super surprising speed on that one. And, really, I thought he did himself super proud. It was the injury in the second half to him that also I thought was Ohio State's undoing, not just the targeting or any of those other things. Him being injured and Ohio State not being able to kind of have these more sustained drives. I think those were part of the problems that they had. And, I'll go into, one more thing, but I just want to get back to the Etienne thing. The first touchdown that he had, they slipped through, and it was like, uh-oh, It was like, even if you're an Ohio State fan, pre-targeting, any of those things, you see that, you're like, uh-oh, oh no. And then the second touchdown, where he's basically stopped, he's in a phone booth, up on the 4-yard line, somehow you can't even see the move. He's surrounded by so many defenders, and all of a sudden he's in the end zone. And then the pass play, which people are thinking that Clemson's going to line up for a field goal, Dabo Swinney, to his credit, never was thinking field goal. Was thinking touchdown all the way. And I love the way that Dabo Swinney, at that point in the game, never thought, we'll manage the clock, we'll make them burn timeouts, we'll milk it, and then we'll kick this. It's like, he never thought about that. He was just like, we're going to play our game, and we're going to score a touchdown here. And it was like, that's how you win championships. That's the difference between a guy like him and a guy like Allen at Indiana. That's the difference, is that right there. But, and I think, I think Ohio State, they can say all they want about, the targeting call being the difference. They can say all they want about the scoop and score being the difference. They can say all they want about, the Dobbins touchdown catch that wasn't a catch or whatever. They can say all they want about that stuff. You get inside the 10-yard line 3 times and you don't get a touchdown on that, you're not going to beat Clemson. You're never, ever, ever going to beat them.
That's right.
You're never going to beat them. Clemson had 1 field goal attempt all night. They missed it. It was on their first drive. They missed it. Remember, it was 3-0 Ohio State, and then Clemson missed the field goal. Yeah. You cannot, and my wife was like, you ran your mouth. It's like, that's how you always lose, all that stuff. You were like, there's no way. I said, Clemson's going to win this game. I'm like, 3 field goals inside the 10-yard line, you cannot beat Clemson. They're going to score eventually, Eventually they're going to start opening things up. And, how about Chase Young? They kind of figured out their way around him. He got some licks in, and but he was not a factor in this game.
That's right. Awesome.
They took him out, and they did exactly what we talked about on the show. They just let him go. You just let him go, and you have guys that are fast enough to step around him, and that's exactly what you do to a guy like that. Same way you got to treat Julius Peppers, right? Same thing. It's like very cautiously. You don't want him to hit you, But it's like, if you let him go, you're hopefully fast enough to get around him. I think Julius Peppers is a little better than this guy, to be honest with you. But that's just me. All right, I've kind of gone on my little soapbox here. Steve, any closing comments about that game?
No, again, I just said it was a lot closer than I anticipated. Ohio State can hold their head up high. It was a hard-hitting game, too, on both sides, man. It really was a physical, brutal game, man. And you know what? Clemson, at the end of the day, was the better team. And, now we have the matchup that we all anticipated, LSU-Clemson. So
this was the best playoff game ever of the opening round games.
I think so.
Because we said,
that's accurate.
We said in the on yesterday's show that these opening round games are never close, right? This was the only one. This one and Oklahoma, Georgia, the only two that have ever been close. There's been now 12 of these games. 10 of them have been blowouts. A lot closer to what we saw in the first game. And is it time for just Oklahoma to just go away? Just go away. It's like you can't contend with these other teams playing this kind of papier-mâché defense. I don't understand the defensive strategy that Oklahoma brings in each and every year. It's not like they don't get top recruits. It's not like they don't have, that Hazelwood, another guy, right? Committed to Georgia, from Georgia, decommitted, goes to Oklahoma. Probably going to be a Julio Jones or DeAndre Hopkins in the NFL, But why can't they do that with, like these LSU defensive backs or something? How about that number 18, Chase on LSU? How would you like him on your team, man, where he pulls the whole team over and he says, cut the crap, we got another game. It's like, man, how would you like to have that guy in the locker room? That's Ed Reed. That is Ed Reed is what that is. And let's start getting to today's games, man. But I really thought that that would, even despite the score of the first game, I thought it was super impressive. I thought Jefferson was amazing in that game too. The LSU receivers, Joe Burrow just not afraid to fire it in there on those Oklahoma defensive backs. Don't suggest that same stuff against Clemson. I imagine Clemson's going to probably tighten it up after that Ohio State game. I think that was, I think that's both those teams, Clemson and Ohio State, just to go back to it. It's like neither of those teams had been tested like that this season. It's not like college basketball where Oregon's playing Baylor and Gonzaga's playing, playing Duke, early in the season, because they don't do it that way. But I think a revamping of the playoff system would be in order, but it's like, do you really want to see LSU against anything less than Oklahoma? Because you're going to see, that's what you're going to see, in the opening round. I think that's what a lot of people are saying, is that you'll see that, but it wouldn't be, in this case, it wouldn't have been. It would have been like LSU Baylor. It would have probably been that game. Those would have been the top 4 seeds, and the 4-5 game would have probably been something like, Oklahoma, Alabama, or Oklahoma, Penn State, or Oklahoma, Georgia would have been there, instead of that. And so, give and take, right? There's some give and take. But I still think you would have ended up with these two teams, at the end of the day. All right. Let's get to the action. Morning to everyone that's joining us. Thanks to everyone that joined me at halftime yesterday, those games, man. What a turnout we had. I said to my wife before that halftime of Clemson, Ohio State, that was going to be the biggest halftime show we ever had, and it clearly was. We had a huge amount of people following, and of course, we nailed that pick. So hopefully everyone was able to jump on that. But we got a lot of stuff going on. Super hockey picks yesterday. I saw Randy Moss had the Dallas Avalanche game in his You Got Mossed this morning with that Dallas goalie snatching the puck from above the Avalanche player's head. That was awesome. Morning, everyone. So let's just get rolling. Let's cut to the chase. We'll go to the NFL. It is the closing day of the season. So we got a lot of players resting, and you have a lot of players not resting. Let's just go to this. Let's let's just pick one. We'll go to the Chiefs and the Chargers. Steve, what are you thinking here?
I think the Chiefs still have a little bit to play for as far as seeding, I think. I think the Chargers obviously have packed it in for the season. They got nothing to play for. If, I think I like the Chiefs. I think it's a 10-point spread at this point, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll take the Chiefs. The Chiefs are home. I'll take the Chiefs winning by 2 touchdowns here. Pat Mahomes should have a big day. As
Can't
always.
argue with you there, Rod. You got any thoughts on this one? I think what scares me is, like, if you wanted to take the Chargers here is, the Chiefs are going to be playing fairly aggressively, I would imagine, with so much at stake in this one. And, the Chargers, it's been a turnover fest to begin with. Arrowhead is a nasty place to play. It's basically like a pre-playoff game, because it does have meaning here, possibly. I mean, how many, I think this is where you look to the prop bets for turnovers on the Chargers. Rod, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I like the Chiefs here too. They're still trying to get the second spot. Whether they can get it, who knows? Probably not. And I don't see things happening in Foxborough today. So I would take the Chiefs here. Chargers.
Yeah, I want the Chiefs as well. I don't trust LA as far as I can throw them, so I'll lay the points with Kansas City here.
Could this be Philip Rivers' last game in the NFL, do you think? Or
in the NFL? I don't think so. No way.
Nah.
Another year?
He's still a robot.
That's true.
Well, the Chargers, here's the thing. The Chargers should be drafting fairly high. So it'll be interesting to see if they bring in a quarterback. And it would be nice, back in the day, they used to groom the QBs. And it would be nice if you had that luxury to do that. Unfortunately, with the contracts the way they are these days, you don't really have the time that you used to have to Steve McNair guy, put him on the bench for a few years, and then all of a sudden you get an MVP, right? It's like it just doesn't work that way. Remember, Dan Marino didn't start his right out of the gate either. He had to unseat David Woodley. It was pretty tough going there.
New quarterback.
Chris, Patriots, Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, this spread is like huge, so I'm going to side with Miami in the points. I just think it's a 2-touchdown game. I think just New England tries to just play very cautious. They're not going to try to. They're going to try to blow out Miami, but I think Miami keeps it reasonably close.
Rod?
I'm taking the Patriots here. They cover the number.
Steve?
I think they win by 3 touchdowns. That Patriots D is rolling. Miami's in for a long day.
Steve?
I think I'm going to go with Chris and the points here. 16. I think Sony Michel is sick or something. He's not going to play. We've talked about, New England and the wide receivers, and, Tom Brady has not kind of looked like Tom Brady. Obviously, I think the Patriots win, but I think that's too many points. So I'll take a flyer on the Dolphins.
I'm going to take the Dolphins on the money line here. I put $50 on them at plus 790 just for the hell of it. But I like Miami to win this game outright. They've split with the Patriots every single year, going way back in way less winnable spots than this. Dolphins have been the thorn in Tom Brady's side throughout his career. He has the worst record against any team in the NFL against the Miami Dolphins. And the Patriots won the first meeting this year. Remember last year, the Kenyon Drake game? I could certainly see the Dolphins pulling the upset here in New England. I think that the officiating is going to be heinous. If anyone here thinks that the officiating was bad in the Ohio State, Clemson game, which I don't think it was that bad. I don't think Ohio State got any of the breaks, in that game. I think that's what happened, but they didn't score the touchdowns when they were inside the 10-yard line, and that's really where it happened. There were some pass interferences against Ohio State that weren't called in that game either. And some holdings, some defensive holdings, and some offensive holdings too. That's part of the game. But if you think that was some heinous officiating, wait till you see what goes on in New England today. This could be some of the worst officiating that we see in usually there's a few of these games a year where it's just like they decide who's going to win the game before the game starts. And it usually, even if the game gets into like huge differentials in score, they'll continue to do it, just to make it worse. And I think we could see that in New England, but if that doesn't happen, I see the Dolphins beating the Patriots today, plus 790 on the money line. I put $50. I mean, it's nothing, but I don't care. It's worth it, man. $50 you get back, pays, right? Why not? But anyways, I'll take the Dolphins on the money line. It's a homer pick for me, and I don't care. I'm not making any excuses. I know that my phone's going to be lit up today if the Patriots win. I know that. I know that going in. They don't care that the guys on our text string in Boston. They don't care that the Dolphins are 4-11 and the Patriots are 12-3. They don't care. They don't see it that way. They see it as the Patriots beating the Dolphins. Anyways,
I don't understand that, why people get all, because you make the pick of the Dolphins. So what?
No. These guys. They've been doing this for like 40 years. 30 years. They've been doing this to me, or more. They've been doing this since the Mosey to Tupu, game. The year when the Dolphins beat the Bears in the regular season, and the Dolphins played New England in the playoffs that year. The Tony Eason team, when the Dolphins fumbled like crazy. It was the Patriots that year. That the Tony Eason year was the year that the Patriots, it was like one of those things where it was like every fumble they recovered. It was like their own fumbles they recovered, the other team's fumbles. It's just some teams go through runs like that, and the Patriots did go through a run like that, and they made it to the Super Bowl on it. And it was the Dolphins that were fumbling that day, and it was horrible. But before then. These are the guys that, like, when Miami lost to Buffalo or something on a last-second field goal, and this is like we were still watching black and white TVs in our dorm room.
Right.
They made sure that I saw that replay, as many times as possible. It's like that's how bad this is. It goes back, and these guys will tell you like the exact scenario of the snowplow game. They could tell you how much gas was in the tank of the snowplow when it drove across the field, and remind you, like, they'll go back to the whole thing. First he got out of the prison uniform, then he put on street clothes, then he put on a jacket, then he got on the snowplow and he drove. It's like, this is how it is. It has nothing to do with me picking the Dolphins on the money line. I got to take them on the money line because I'm going to, regardless of what the final score is, I'm going to hear it like I picked on the money line. So might as well at least give it a shot. We got the Blues taking on the Winnipeg Jets. 3 o'clock start Eastern time. Rod, what are you thinking here? The Blues minus 179. Bennington's in the net.
Yep. So I've been riding the Blues. These Blues have been on fire. They've won 7 games in a row. The Jets have fared a little bit good in St. Louis. They're 5-1. Their last 6 in there. But I ain't taking the Jets. Give me the Blues. They're still on fire. I'll take the Blues on the puck line. I see about a 4-2 game here.
Joe Theba's problem with me picking the Dolphins here because I picked New England in the video. I don't care. How about that? I took them on the money line at plus 790. Okay, it's a total homer pick. I'm rooting for them. If you want to know who I think is going to win the game, then go to my video. But if you want to know who, I'm a Dolphin fan. I'm a season ticket holder since day one. I am like the Dolphin fan. It's like these guys. So like how football cards have value and all of that other stuff, and everyone thinks how valuable trading cards are. At one point they were worth a lot of money. These guys took a dart and put it through the head of my Dan Marino rookie card, and I can't even argue with them about it. It's like, who knows what that thing is worth now? He's in the Hall of Fame and everything, but mine's worth 0 because it has a dart hole right through his head. And it's like, I don't even care that much because it kind of was a good gag, I came back, it's like, I see my door, I walk up to the door of my room, there's my Dan Marino rookie card with a dart through its head. It's like, and this is back, he was maybe 2 years into the league at this point, but it was like, I had a Dan Marino rookie card. They took it and they put a dart through his head. It's like I couldn't even say anything. It's like I'm not apologizing for my money line pick. That's for sure. Anyways, Ottawa Senators up against. Well, do you hear the Blues and the Jets, Chris?
Yeah, I like Winnipeg here. It's like Rod said, Winnipeg's 5-1 in the last 6 in St. Louis. The underdog 6-2 in the last 8. Winnipeg's only one win less than St. Louis on the road. They're 11-7 on the road. St. Louis is 12-7 at home. I think Winnipeg's worth a shot here.
My phone is already blowing up, so these guys must be watching the show.
One of them is. One of them just commented.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. How about the Senators and the Devils, Chris?
Yeah, I like Ottawa in regulation here at plus 115. Both teams have had their ups and downs, but New Jersey continues to stink on the road, and the Ottawa Senators play their best hockey at home. So I'll take Ottawa in regulation.
How about you, Rod?
Yeah, for me, same. I think Ottawa's got, two losses now at home since October 25th. The Ottawa loves being at home. Give me Ottawa on the puck line. I think they can win by a couple here.
And how about Columbus against Chicago, Rod?
For me, Columbus, they finally got one loss, but they're still playing real good hockey, and the Blackhawks just don't fare so well in Columbus. Give me Columbus here.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I like Columbus in regulation at minus 110. It's like Rod said, Columbus usually plays well at home, and 11 of their 17 wins this season have come. So yeah, I like Columbus here.
I really got to say I like the Blackhawks in this one. I think it's going to be a crappy day in Columbus today. I think that, it's like you got the Ohio State basketball game at noon. You're recovering from the game last night against Clemson, which you lost, and now you got the Blue Jackets. By 5 o'clock, these people are going to be asleep. I think it's going to be a very low-key arena there. I think it's a good spot for the Blackhawks to jump up and bite them. Move back to the NFL with my controversial money line pick of the Dolphins after I took the Patriots on my video. Pretty rough there, man. Anyways, Panthers plus 13.5 against the Saints. For me, this is the one where I think the Panthers maybe give them a little bit of a problem here. I don't like the Saints going outdoors. I think the Saints are a team that gets a lot of good calls too that kind of slide under the radar here. I think that Sean Payton got some bad calls for a few years there, but I think that actually because Drew Brees, it kind of like softened him up a little bit. Now they're getting the calls. But I still think the Panthers are going to give them some fits. I don't like the Saints going outdoors. We've seen the Saints against division opponents going outdoors throughout the years lay an egg in some of these spots. I know that you can go in that they really want it. It's a meaningful game. But I'm not a psychiatrist, man. I'm just betting on football. I'm going to take the Panthers here in the points. Steve, what do you think?
I'm on the other side. I think, kind of like the Chiefs, the Saints need help. They got to win, number one, and, a couple scenarios that they actually will get the third overall seed in a home game. I think Michael Thomas is a factor here. I think he's like maybe 112 yards away from 1,800 yards, which means I think he'll be the fifth receiver ever to do that. I think the Panthers have just, since firing Rivera, just haven't been playing competitive football, Christian McCaffrey aside. I appreciate your point about the Saints not being indoors, but I just think they're the better team, and I can see them winning by 2 touchdowns. It was kind of like last week. The game was awfully close for their liking until they pulled away, and then they covered a pretty good spread last week too. I'll go with the Saints.
Yeah, if you have picks, if you could put those in the Facebook group, this is kind of like, where people come for our picks. So you're going to have to go, unfortunately, from our show. But, yeah, like I said, if you have your own picks, and those of you watching, if you can hit the thumbs up, greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. See, only 55 thumbs up with like 190 people watching or something. So it doesn't cost you anything. Should take you about a half a second. Rod, what do you think in this Panthers game?
For me, the Panthers are 0-7 straight up their last 7. They're 1-5-1 against the spread the last 7. Give me the Saints here. The Saints cover this number.
How about you, Chris? You love a big favorite.
No, but I'm gonna go with Carolina here. New Orleans 0-4 in the last 4 against the spread. Underdogs 10-1 against the spread in the last 11. It's a division game. I expect the Panthers to at least put up a fight in the last game of the season. I'll take a shot with Carolina here.
Go to our next game here. This Aaron Amby just refuses to listen to me, so just gonna have to go. Thank you for playing. We got some excellent parting gifts for you. Probably a case of rice roni or something. 31 flavors, different flavor every day of the month.
San Francisco treat, come on.
Yeah, enjoy yourself. Let's go to the next game on the board. We're just going right down the list. We got the Vikings +3 against the Bears. The Vikings have absolutely nothing to play for here. They haven't lost back-to-back home games since they moved to this stadium. The Bears trying to get to 500. They don't have a first-round pick this year, so what do they care? They traded it to the Raiders for Khalil Mack. I think, when you make a trade like that, there's a few of those trades, and we'll talk about them as we go, that affecting the first round, where guys end up and, who wins games today and how that affects somebody else. But I don't know. I think Khalil Mack for a couple first-rounders. I mean, you're going to, you see guys bust out of the first round all the time. It's like kind of like, that's one that I kind of like. I think that Khalil Mack is a guy that he maybe not have the numbers that we've seen in the past from him, but he's a guy that occupies a lot of blockers. So he makes everybody else better. Kind of, like I always say about Vince Wilfork type or, big defensive tackle, where it's like they don't necessarily get the big numbers, but it's like if you don't put 2 or 3 guys on him, he will destroy your game plan. So, anyways, the Bears, I don't know. They've been playing a little bit better recently, but this is a team just 2-8 against the number in their last 10 games. The Vikings, without Dalvin Cook on Monday night, they looked lost. So they're not going to have him here. What are we going to see from the Vikings today? Steve, what are you thinking in this one?
I mean, I got to go with the Bears because the Vikings literally have nothing to play for. They're locked and loaded for the playoffs. I can see, everybody, taking a respite today. The Bears, if they, Trubisky in the run game, we'll see what happens, but I think the spread is low enough that I can see the Bears, winning here today.
Yeah, we're gonna see Sean Mannion. We're gonna see Sean Mannion. We're gonna see the good, the bad, and the ugly Sean Mannion. We're gonna see some other guys like that get some chances to play. With roster limitations, there's only so deep you can go these days.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see exactly what that means, but. I don't think Kirk Cousins is not a guy we're going to see. We're going to see some Amir Abdullah action going on there at running back as well. Rod, any opinion here on the Bears-Vikings?
I'm definitely not running to the window to bet this game, but give me the Vikings plus the points at home. Give me the home dog here.
How about you, Chris? A quick pick here?
Yeah, I'll take a shot with Minnesota 4-0. Gets spread after a loss this year, so I'll take a shot with Minnesota.
How about the Wild, the other Minnesota, against the Islanders here, -115 at home. Both these teams playing about the same level of hockey recently. I mean, it's really been. I think this is a close. This to me, the line indicates it, and to me, it looks like a coin flip type game. What do you think? Wild and Islanders.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Minnesota here at -115. It's like you said, they've both been playing pretty much identical hockey over the last 10 games. A lot of the Islanders' recent blips have come on the road. They've lost 3 straight. I like Minnesota at home here.
How about you, Rod?
Yeah, I like the Minnesota Wild here at home. They play good hockey at home. And Dubnyk should be in net, and he's been playing some really good goals since he's come back from dealing with his wife. So, Wild on the money line here at home.
How about the Bruins and the Sabres? Rod, I say fade the Boston teams all the way. I've been, I think betting the Bruins is like betting the Red Sox. I've been saying it all season, or at least for the last few weeks since we picked up on this trend. The Sabres, this is a team that I've taken at about this price on this show, and they haven't hit once for me on it, but they've been to a lot of overtime games, right? It's like I always see them about this price in this type of spot, and they seem to always get it to overtime, right? And then they never win it. So 77% of the public trying to get the Bruins back on the horse here, but the Bruins look like they're acting like the old Bruins did in around April, just laying down. What do you think, Rod?
Bruins covered the puck line in the last game.
3-4-2-1 in their last 10.
Yep. So they're on a one game winning streak. They won their last game. Buffalo in Boston they just struggle. This it's priced the way it is for a reason. You give me Boston on the puck line here. Boston -1.
A lot of questions here on Chris and his rolling out of bed hair, dude. A lot of questions on it, so maybe something to think about for next show. Anyways, what are you thinking here, Chris, on this one?
Yeah, I like Boston on the puck line as well. Buffalo's lost 13 of their last 15 games away from Buffalo. We all know Boston's tough at home, so I'll take Boston on the puck line.
I like the Sabres here. I'm going to ride my horse into the ground. And then, the team that's always the biggest price here, Tampa Bay, minus 347 against the Detroit Red Wings. I think I'm going to get a Red Wings jersey for the second half of the season. I just hockey's better when the Red Wings are good.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot with Detroit plus the 1.5 at plus 125. We're not paying that crazy number for Tampa Bay, and
only 7-13 on the puck line at home. The Lightning here.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, we've seen it before with Tampa Bay and these crazy numbers, like against Ottawa. I think last year, or the year before, but they were minus like 500 or minus 350, and Ottawa came out and won. The last 3 meetings have been decided by a goal each. I'll take a shot with Detroit plus the 1.5.
How about you, Rod?
I'm the same. Give me Detroit plus 1.5 here at plus 125. I think Detroit can hang in there and keep it a 1-goal game. I ain't laying no minus 390 with Tampa. Forget that. Go Detroit.
I like the Lakers tonight against the Mavericks. I'm just going to throw this one in there. I just think that everyone's a little too excited about the Mavericks. I like the Mavericks. I like Luka. I like Porzingis. I like what they're doing. I think they're one player away from being a real contender, but I like the Lakers. And this one at home at Staples. Like, the less people that are on the Lakers, the more I like them. When everyone's on a team, I like being on the other side. I am the quintessential other side of the argument guy. This is why, like, when I've had real jobs, like actual jobs where you have to go to work, I've never had a job I wasn't fired from because I'm always the other guy on the other side of the argument. I am. It's like let's order in Subway for lunch. It's like I'd way rather have Potbelly. It's like that's me. It's like I'm that guy. It's like why don't we just get a bunch of pizzas and split up? Because everyone wants their own thing. Tough shit. Let's just get the pizza. I'm gonna take the Lakers.
I like Dallas.
This is how you end up getting fired from your own company. How did Mitch end up at Pick Dog? Let's see, 77% are on the Bruins. I'm on the Sabres. And that's exactly how. Right there. Let's see. We got go back to the NFL. A lot of people asking about the NFL. We're obviously just going right down the schedule. Tampa Bay against the Falcons. This line has inverted and gone the other way. I like the Falcons in this one. I think Tampa Bay has not been a good home team this season. I think Tampa Bay is really a team headed in the right direction. And I think, Steve might have some points with Jameis, that maybe he isn't the answer or whatever, but there's a lot worse answers out there than him. And I think that if you brought in an Andy Dalton, to a more stable type quarterback, you might not get the exciting plays that you get with Jameis, and you're certainly not going to get the athleticism. The Bucs, I don't think, have just like a few deficiencies to fill. They have a lot, so reaching up for a quarterback is probably not something that they can afford to do right now, especially since they have a lot of money invested in this guy. But the Falcons have been probably one of the more disappointing teams. Steve's credit, they gave Quinn the vote of confidence here, and said they're going to bring him back for one more year. I think it's just because they don't have any answers, or they didn't watch the Ohio State-Clemson game last night first before they said that and offered it. I mean, if Cliff Kingsbury's coaching in the NFL, then Ryan Day certainly deserves it. I mean, not just the play call there, but the preparation to get to that play call. Just his overall preparation. It's like, they came out, and in the first, 25 minutes of that game, it was like they knew everything that Clemson was going to do and had all the answers for it, offensively and defensively too, except in the red zone where no one scored up Clemson all season. But anyway, Steve, what do you think here in this game? I like the Falcons here.
I love the Falcons here. I mean, Jameis Winston, I think, has 28 interceptions for the season. I can see him throwing at least another 2 today, so he'll finish with 30, at least 30, I would say, which is, record territory. And the reason I bring that up, you brought up that he is exciting, athletic, and so he'll give you 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns, but it always offsets with the interceptions. The fact that Tampa is actually favored here, I love the Falcons, but more importantly, I love the over here. I think the Falcons score points, and, I think the Bucs will score points. So I love the over at 48. And, Dan Quinn, I'll give Arthur Blank credit for bringing him back. The guy's overall record with Atlanta got him to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. He's not the worst coach out there. So, I love the Falcons here, but I definitely love the over here on 48 points.
Yeah, I'm on the Falcons as well.
Oh, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I'm on the Falcons as well. I think I don't trust Tampa Bay at home. They're 0-4-3 against the spread this season at home, and with being a pick 'em. Atlanta's just playing better football right now, so I'll take Atlanta.
Rod?
I'm going to be on my own little island. Give me the Bucs at home here.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay's playing the better football, but they just don't win at home. That's
Today they will, because I'm on my own little island over here, and I'm going to take the Bucs at home.
Hasn't worked out all that well for you on this show. We got the Bengals up against the Browns. My opinion.
You did yesterday.
I've given my opinion on this game. This is one of those games where I've given my opinion enough times that I'm sick of talking about it. So you can check out any of my videos today. I've talked about this game, but let's just say this: I love betting against bad teams. And the only thing I like betting against more than betting against bad teams is betting against bad, overrated teams. And the Bengals have nothing left to lose for at this point. They're already wrapped up number 1 pick. Steve, Joe Burrow stays healthy. He's probably a Bengal. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Joe. He will be a Bengal. There's no question that's going to happen. I think Beckham is out for the Browns, or he's not feeling good. The game is at Cincinnati.
Has he played his last game in Cleveland?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they can unload him. But he's a cancer. Like, God, he's a cancer. Any locker room.
You don't think the Patriots or the Packers would?
No, you're right. I mean, the Patriots or Packers would probably be a logical destination. But, I'll take the Bengals here at home. Cleveland, is favored. They're dysfunctional. Could very well be Freddie Kitchens' last game in Cleveland.
Ryan Day.
You know what? I would love for the Dallas Cowboys to call Ohio State and inquire about Ryan Day.
I can't say how impressed I was. I can't overestimate how impressed I was with this guy. And going into the game, I knew he was a good coach, but last night I really cemented it for me. Really.
Yeah, me too.
Scary. Good. Scary.
So I'll take the Bengals here. It's a crap game, but I'll take the Bengals.
Rod?
Give me the Bengals too. I'll take the Bengals on the money line at home.
Chris, you love a good favorite.
Not here. I want Cincinnati +2 and on the money line.
I love Cincinnati. Here we go. Wow. That's something we haven't heard from anybody all season. We got the Jets and the Bills here. Bills, once again, another team. Absolutely nothing to play for in this game. The Jets, 6-9 on the season. I like the Jets in this one. They're getting a point in this one. I don't see how the Bills are favored. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I don't know. It's just we know the Bills know not only are they does it not matter? I mean, they're going on the road. They're going to be playing, probably in Houston. I don't understand how the Jets aren't favored here in this game. It almost looks weird to me. I haven't heard specifically that the Bills are resting players, but it certainly would make a lot of sense for them to be resting players in this one.
Allen probably won't play. Quarterback's not going to start.
So Shaq Lawson's not playing. Singletary's not playing. John Brown and Cole Beasley are not playing, and Dawson Knox and Tre'Davious White all not playing for the Bills. If the Jets can't beat them now, they're never ever going to beat them ever. The Jets, we know what the problem is. It's the coach. I probably wasn't going to watch this game, but I love the Matt Barkley show. It's just one of my favorite things that I love to watch in the NFL over the years. You just never know what you're going to get with Matt Barkley, and it's like a car wreck. It's like you just can't kind of turn away from it. It's kind of like,
All right.
I'm taking the JTS Jets in this one, Steve.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Jets seem to win one, lose one. They had a couple game win streak early or mid-season. They got Le'Veon Bell, Darnold. Probably, he's going to play to win. I think the Jets getting to 7-9 looks a lot better than finishing 6-10. Like you said, there's a lot of Bills that are probably going to sit. They're going to be on the road. I'll take the Jets here. Yeah, I'll take the Jets and the points here.
Rod?
Yep. Give me the Jets too.
Chris?
Me too.
How about the Panthers versus the Canadians, Chris? The Canadians played in a tough one yesterday. That was actually one of the better games. Ended up, I believe, on the wrong side of that one. And all of a sudden,
yeah, they lost 5-4 to Tampa Bay.
5-4, close one though, right?
Yeah.
How about here against the Panthers, who were big favorites yesterday?
Yeah, I'm still going to side with Florida at -125. Montreal's had issues playing on no rest. I think they've lost 8 of their last 11 on the end of a back-to-back. Well, Florida's probably got Bobrovsky in net for this one after Dreger started yesterday and let New Jersey hang around. I like Florida here.
Yeah, I like Florida on the puck line. Bobrovsky will be in net. He's confirmed already. And like you said, Montreal on the back-to-back. Price is starting to look like he gave up 4 goals in that second period and looking like he was when he was giving up a whole pile of goals again. So give me the Panthers on the puck line here. Montreal's in trouble today.
How about the Coyotes and the Stars, 2 teams that you guys have been riding pretty hard? This is another coin flip game. There's a few coin flip games here in the NHL. This is one of them. Chris?
Yeah, Arizona was a team that I've been on. And I considered taking them to bounce back after falling out of lead in the division, but their goaltending situation is still murky. Dallas won 9 of the last 10 against Arizona. They played better in the last 10 games. I'll take Dallas minus 105.
How about you, Roger?
Yeah, I've been riding Dallas. I've been staying away from this Coyotes team where their goalie situation is. I don't know who's going to start. You know what, Ron in again?
Yeah,
Yikes.
Looks like it.
That's the only goalie they got.
Yeah,
so they're riding.
I like the Stars minus a goal and a half in this one, to be honest. And it's like, I don't even know anything about hockey, but I mean, I also got $50 on the Dolphins money line today. So what the hell, I think I could make my 50 up and then some with a little reverse puck line action here on the Stars. It's a pretty good payout, for a game. I think outside, as opposed to my Dolphins bet, I think this one is pretty reasonable, right? I mean, it's not a bad play. How about let's just wrap up the hockey. How about the Ducks and the Flyers? This is another one that's a coin toss, Rod.
The Flyers, the Sharks. Woo, they were hungry yesterday.
No, it's no Ducks.
No, I'm talking about we're talking about the Flyers and the Ducks, right?
Yes.
The Flyers yesterday, I'm talking about with that number, that crazy number I gave out, the 2-20 in San Jose. Yeah, well, they're now 2-21 in San Jose. The Flyers today and the Ducks, they do way better. They're 4-1 against the Ducks the last 5. Give me the Flyers here for the bounce back. I think they can beat the Ducks. Give me the puck line too. I think I like the Flyers on the puck line here.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, after last night, I can't jump right back on the Flyers right away. Anaheim's playing better defense than what their record would indicate. They do their best work at home. They're catching. Flyers have lost 8 of the last 10 on the end of a back-to-back. I'll take my shot with Anaheim here.
Got Calgary Flames minus 194 against Vancouver. Demko in net for the Canucks. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a Demko fan at all. So Calgary's the rest of the team sitting at home waiting for the Canucks to fly in. Calgary's ready to kick their butt. I think this is the nighttime Sunday hometown hockey game. What they call it every Sunday, they have a hometown hockey game.
9:30 p.m. start. We call what we call this one. We call this one the what do they call it? Like the last game where it's kind of like you lost it. The
bailout game.
Yeah, the bailout.
But I love the Flames on the puck line here. Give me the Flames on the puck line at home. They're rested. They're waiting. This is the hometown hockey game.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to try my luck with Vancouver at plus 170. I'm just going on value. You give me a Vancouver team. Yeah, it's on a back-to-back. But they've also won 4 straight coming into this one. I mean, the world, like you said, the world's on Calgary here. I'll take my chances with Vancouver.
Yeah, it's interesting. 20-15-1. Both these teams have the same record. But you're getting 2-1 on your money on one. Go back to the NFL. Got the Lions and the Packers. Packers, tons to play for here, Steve. Tons. They could be the number 1 overall seed. This could be the worst looking number 1 overall seed that I could possibly remember. Boy, wouldn't the NFL love to see the Packers in the Super Bowl? One of the most popular teams out there. 12.5-point favorites against the Lions, who have been punchless. I think Matt Patricia's on my list of 5 worst NFL head coaches. Him and Gase are probably neck and neck right at the top of the list. Lions plus 12.5 at home in this one. They're going to be drafting in the top 5. Probably around number 4, right ahead of the Dolphins, unless they win this one. Are you thinking? Could you possibly draft a quarterback? Can you possibly? They have so many holes.
I know. Patricia's a defensive guy, but Matt Stafford. Is he a nice quarterback? Yeah, he is. Is he worth that kind of money? No. I think
They haven't had a real lineman though since Lomas Brown.
They got so many holes like other teams. Who's to say right now, which direction they go. But speaking about today, I think the Pack have too much to play for. It's at Detroit, ideal conditions. Rodgers should pick apart the Lions. I don't see the Lions scoring a lot of points against the Pack, so I'll take the Pack by 2 touchdowns here. There's just too much to play.
57% of the public on the Lions here. How about you, Rod?
57% of the Lions? What's wrong with me? Give me the Packers. Let me load up on the Packers.
How about you, Chris?
The Packers win by 2 TDs.
Yeah, I'm on the Packers as well.
What's wrong with me?
Cowboys and the Redskins. Steve? 13 points. Cowboys are favored. Inverse line movement like crazy. 38% of the public on the Cowboys here, and the line's gone from 11.5 to 13.
Yeah, I you know what? I have no faith in them. I'll take the points with the Redskins at home. I think the Cowboys will win the game, but it's too many points for my liking. I really, I have no faith in the Dallas Cowboys.
I took the Redskins on the money line this game. I love them.
Yep.
I think everyone's been waiting for the Cowboys and they can do this. It's like they're not good. They're not good at all. I think Jason Garrett, it's all over. I think that he does. I think it does surface. He does resurface somewhere. I don't know if he takes some time off because he has been the head coach for so long.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know if he takes a year off. Or if he goes to a job as a coordinator, or maybe I could see him going back to Princeton and coaching.
Absolutely.
I could see him. He's that type of guy, or he would take that type of job. He's probably done pretty well for himself. So, probably not a major concern financially for him at all. And he's probably still going to get paid out by the Cowboys because, when you have that many contract renewals, you usually have all kinds of stipulations in there. And, as you've been there longer, usually the pay goes up. Like any job, but I like the Redskins here, and I could see them playing hard in this one. I could see them beating Dallas outright. Rod, what do you think?
It's gonna be an ugly game.
Yeah, it is.
I'm definitely not running to the window to bet this one either. That's not a whole lot on betting on the NFL today. Few games, it's gonna be.
But the thing is that for me, the games that I like, I really like. That's the thing. It's like the thing about Week 17. If you can find some games that you like, this is the week. There's going to be games that are impossible. That you don't want to stay far away from. And then there are other games that you just love them.
Well, Dallas has been on. They play one crap game, one half decent game, crap game, lose a couple crap games. Give me Dallas today. I think they'll have a little motivation trying to make a playoff spot.
How about you, Chris?
I guess. Is the Giants game earlier or later?
They're all at the same time. The teams in the same division all play at the same time.
Oh, okay.
There's not any teams that have playoff implications that go off of one another. They generally play all at the same time, except for that Seahawks 49ers game where it's actually for the division title. And there are some other things that go off of that. So, that's that's an outlier this time, but generally that's the way that they do it for Week 17, and that's why they don't announce the times until way later.
Wait down. Okay.
But usually it's usually the teams that all have, so like the Chiefs and the Patriots are all playing at the same time. That's how it works. So.
Yeah, I like Washington as well with the points here. I just think Dallas tries to make sure they don't lose this game. I think they win it maybe by 7-10 if they win it.
Yeah.
Got the Rams playing against the Cardinals. The Rams obviously looking for a 9-7 record. They don't have a first-round pick either. I think that they of the guys that traded their first-round picks, I think they did extremely well on theirs either. It's headed to Jacksonville. I think Jalen Ramsey is worth a number 1 pick, especially around number 20 where they're going to be drafting. And hey, trust me on this. you're not going to get a player at number 20. Unless Emmitt Smith somehow falls through the cracks or Adrian Peterson, you're not getting a player at number 20 that's as good as Jalen Ramsey. The odds are so stacked against you. It was a great trade. The other factor here, Whitworth, if the Rams win, a winning record for him, $500,000 bonus in his contract for a winning record. He's met every other stipulation in that contract. I think the Rams suck if they lose and they don't pay him that bonus anyway, because he hasn't missed a game this season. I think it would be really crappy of them, but it is a business, and that is why it's at that point. So, but the Rams handled the Cardinals. I mean, one of the best. I'd say their best game. Well, their second best game of the season. Their best game was against Seattle, but their second best game of the season was against Arizona, where they just dominated them in Arizona. But the Rams 7-point favorites here. You want to lay 7 points with Goff at any point in your lifetime? This is the thing. And I read an interesting statistic about Jared Goff that, not surprising, this was the worst season of his career. It's like because they didn't spend $400 million on players to put around him to cover up for all of his deficiencies. I like the Cardinals and the points. Steve?
I'm with you. Cardinals and the points.
Rod?
Give me Arizona on the money line here.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I like Arizona with the points as well.
Got the Beagles and the Giants. Giants getting a lot of credit here, just plus 3.5 from 4.5. I don't know. I mean, is it me or is this team? I mean, have they just not stunk up the joint for the entire season? I'm not sure where the backing on the Giants comes from here. The money is spread out about 50-50 on this game. Steve, what's the weather like there in Jersey?
Yeah, so that question, it's right now 40. There's a 70% chance of rain throughout the afternoon. So, most likely there should be some wetness in the Meadowlands for the game. There's no wind. I don't think wind is going to factor in here. Maybe by game time, there'll be some swirls around the Meadowlands, but nothing crazy. But I'm all in on the Eagles here. They win the division. Cowboys, we just talked about too inconsistent. And I'm not saying the Eagles are the be-all, end-all, but they're better than the New York Giants. Daniel Jones is, he's had a good rookie year. He has, but he turns the ball over an awful lot.
He's had a mediocre.
For his rookie campaign, and the fact he went 27 for 45 to 300 plus and 5 touchdowns and no interceptions, I think, you can work with that. So I love the Eagles here. I think they win flat out, win the division, and the Cowboys packing in, and Jason
Timmy
Garrett.
Smith ran for 700 yards in the Super Bowl.
I know.
These are professional athletes. They're gun at games like that. Is this the guy who can lead you to the promised land? I don't see it.
I don't know. I'm just saying, for rookie campaign, I've seen worse quarterbacks.
I'll tell you. Let me just fill you in on something. I know. Okay, I know. Rod, what do you think? Beagles and the Giants.
The Giants are horrible. But so are the Eagles. That whole division is horrible. None of them should get a playoff spot, but someone's got to win the division and get the playoff spot and get their ass handed to them in the playoffs. So for me, I think the Eagles can win by a touchdown. Give me the Eagles minus 6.5 plus 138.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm gonna take my shot at the Giants here from 3.5 and on the money line. Philly's given up 27 points on the road 5 times this season. I think New York wants to make this a little bit interesting, stick it to a division rival. So take my shot with the points.
Titans minus 7.5 against the Texans. This one was 7. It's now 7.5. Texans obviously playing next week. Obviously playing at home. More than likely playing the Buffalo Bills. It's a familiar spot for the Texans at this point. It doesn't matter who the head coach and defensive coordinator are. They always seem to be hosting that first-round playoff game. Sean Watson's the backup QB for this one.
Yeah, I love Tennessee here in the points. You got to take it. So,
Right.
Yeah, I like Tennessee here too. I think Houston's just going to arrest a whole schwack of people, and Tennessee will just run them over.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm on Tennessee as well.
They win, they're in. Jacksonville against the Colts. You want to talk about a lousy game? Colts have a chance to finish at 500. Jacksonville, they're drafting pretty high in this whole mix, but not high enough. You know, they're kind of in that 7-8 range. I mean, they could possibly go for a quarterback too. Man, it's Colts and Jags. I kind of like the. I don't know who I liked in this one.
Give me the Colts.
Colts.
Chris?
I'll take a shot with the Jaguars.
I'll probably take
Fournette is out. Doug Marrone has been told that he's getting fired at 4 o'clock today, so I just don't see Jacksonville.
Who's the next coach in Jacksonville?
Not sure yet, you know.
Steve Spurrier probably gets a call. I'm going to go to Denver, where the Broncos take on the Raiders. The Raiders still in the playoff mix, but barely hanging on by a thread. They're way ahead of schedule. Make the playoffs, don't make the playoffs, anything, whatever. Way ahead of schedule. But Denver, Drew Lock, guy who I wanted the Dolphins to take last year, not too bad. Whether he's the answer. Broncos generally not a patient organization with quarterbacks in recent years. They're more the trade for a veteran type, and they did that. They got Flacco, and didn't really pan out for them. But this year, as Steve thinks that half the NFL quarterbacks out there are going to be available. Andy Dalton, he's got Matthew Stafford out there. He's got Phil Rivers out there. He's got some real veterans that these are right in that point of the career where the Broncos like them. With like a year or two left.
Yeah, right.
That is where they like them. John Elway retired as the champ, right? He wrote it right down to.
I think there's a shot Derek Carr is available too.
I don't think so.
I don't think Gruden is as enamored with Derek as he was when he took the job. I'll tell you that.
I don't think they're going to eat that contract. I don't think that there's an NFL team that can take the hit on a contract that big, and just walk from it, because at very least you got to have him on as a backup, at the very, very least, because let's take a look at what his contract looks like, because I don't think he's in a contract situation that he's movable or that you can even get rid of him, because he just signed a 5-year, $125 million deal that's through 2022. So you can't take that $25 million hit against the cap, because we cut him, he still counts. That's this was confirmed on Twitter.
Yeah, but this is.
Come on,
I'm just throwing that out there. That's all.
I'm just saying they're not eating $25 million. I think you could eat. If you got Gase as your head coach, you're willing to eat the $220,000. But it's like if you got a quarterback in at $25 million, it'd be like the Lions eating Stafford's contract. You can't do it. It's like you made that commitment, and now you have to live with it. You don't have to live with it for that much longer, but you're going to have to live with it. And the other thing that you're going to have to deal with them. So Matt Stafford's an unrestricted free agent in 2023. He makes $135 million for 5 years. That's $35 million a year. And when you play 4 games like he played this season, what did he play? 7 games? So $5 million a game he got this year for playing, and but only $92 million of it is guaranteed. So he's gonna have to figure out, if something happens there, how he's gonna make ends meet, as Latrell Sprewell used to say. I gotta feed my family. I'm only making $92 million guaranteed. Man, where's reality gone, right? But, you have to look at these things in the NFL because it is a salary cap sport. Anyways, I like Denver here. I think I like the way the Broncos have been playing. I think that, in the Minnesota game where they came out and played really well in the first half of that game, and, I came on at halftime, take the Vikings, right? It was like, I was ridiculous like I was last night with Clemson, right? And it's like, I was that way, but I think in that game, despite losing that game, something clicked, and they've been playing a lot better. Remember, they went into Houston and beat the Texans, too. I mean, the Broncos are pretty good, and so maybe they do go out and get a quarterback, and maybe they will pay for Matthew Stafford's contract or Derek Carr's contract. I don't think Derek Carr, though, doesn't. It's just a lot of money for Derek Carr, but when you look at what everybody else is making.
That was going to be my point. When you say Matt Stafford's making 35, Russell Wilson, Prescott's going to get re-upped for over 30. Derek Carr at 25. I know it's a lot of money, but that's the quarterback market for.
Yeah, well, if you look at those quarterbacks, Russell Wilson's worth the money. Double it,
Yeah, I know. But I love Denver here at home.
How about you, Rod?
Yeah, I like Denver here at home too.
Chris?
Yeah, me too. I like Denver at home.
The weird thing is that I've taken the Raiders just about all season long against the number, and the one time I take the Broncos in my video, the Raider fans just attack me, It's like, I know that comes with the territory. It's what I signed up for. But, man, I've been with you guys all season. It's like, it's like, I know I'm old. You don't need to tell me. It's like, I know how old I am. But I admit it, Ravens against the Steelers. Robert Griffin show. Steelers, I don't know, man. This could be the worst offense. This is like, they look like the Ravens offense the year they won the Super Bowl. Like that Trent Dilfer couldn't score a touchdown offense. This Hodges, I mean, you talk about quarterbacks and all of these other things. It's like, if this is what you got, okay, if this guy's on an NFL roster and Josh Rosen's on an NFL roster, I mean, what happens to these guys that are reasonable in college? I mean, and how bad is, who's the guy from Memphis that the Broncos took?
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch.
How bad is Paxton Lynch? How bad was he that, Mason Rudolph and Hodges? I mean, how bad is Paxton Lynch?
Bad. Out of the league, bad.
Yeah, it's like, man, did I have that guy wrong?
Yeah.
I've been wrong, but Paxton Lynch is one of my. It's in my bad column to the guys that I thought were going to be really good. At least Pharaoh Cooper made the Pro Bowl. He never was really locked in as a wide receiver, but he's still with the varsity, and he did make the Pro Bowl. And I thought that was one of the better fifth-round picks. He makes the Pro Bowl, the guy gets cut. When does that happen? Who does that? That's how you end up going from the Super Bowl to playing for Andre Whitworth's bonus. That's what that means. It's kind of like kind of the Doug Peterson thing, right? Where it's just you're too into yourself. You start believing what they're saying about it. Anyways, this game sucks. I don't know, man. I guess I'll take the Ravens. This is just a crappy game.
Yeah. I gotta go Ravens here. Just to your point, Devlin Hodges and no run game, and
not playing.
Pittsburgh. I watched the game against the Jets last week, and I think the under obviously would probably be a good play here.
This is a bad game. The thing is, normally these are some of the best games. The Steelers Ravens, and they put it on this day because it normally is one of the best games, and it normally is very meaningful. And then here it is, Rod?
Just one of those years it's not going to be a meaningful game. Usually these are throw them down, beat the snot out of each other games. And give me Baltimore here. I think Pittsburgh's had a valiant year.
I still think the Ravens fans at home are going to hate the Steelers enough. I think that maybe that's,
Yeah, I'm on Pittsburgh. Sorry, Baltimore as well. I don't trust Devin Hodges with my playoff life on the line.
Well, he couldn't get it done last week, so with his playoff life on the line. When they were in control of their own destiny. now that they're not in control of their own destiny, now he's going to get it done?
Yeah.
I don't know. Mike Tomlin's a great coach, but it's like, I don't know if he's shopping for the groceries there, right? I mean, it's like he's got to have a word with his GM about this because they gave him nothing this year, on the offensive side. He had nothing to work with. It's like he had JoJo Schuster, and, I thought Washington was a guy that I thought was going to be a lot better in the NFL, too, and maybe he still will be. And I think if he was on the Patriots, he would be.
Yeah, he's got potential, Washington.
He was awesome at Oklahoma State. When he was at Oklahoma State, he was a men against boys, But I thought he was going to be kind of like a Dez, type. But, he hasn't really amounted to that. But, yeah, I don't see it. I think losing Jesse James also was a big loss for the Steelers. He was kind of like a clutch. He was the guy, he only caught a few passes here and there, but every one of them seemed to be a really important one. How about the 49ers and the Seahawks? Russell Wilson. This line's been all over the place. The Seahawks were +2, then they were +3.5. Now they're +3. Seahawks won the first meeting. Both these teams, as bad as Seattle looked against the Rams, and as bad as they've looked in spots, the 49ers didn't look so great against the Falcons either. I mean, they look real bad. So, I don't know. Steve, what do you think? This is
Russell Wilson is 16-2 in primetime games. It doesn't, translate to tonight, but I'm saying we all know and admire Russell Wilson as one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I think he steps up, has a Russell Wilson night. I think it'll be a hard-hitting, close game. They're both, obviously contending for the division, but the fact that it's at Seattle, I'll take the Seattle Seahawks at home. The 3 points here.
That lost to Arizona last week.
I think that might have been good for them to get that out of their system, and I think they'll be ready to play.
And Arizona, 2 of the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Rod,
give me the Seabirds on the money line here. I think they come in and win this one.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm on Seahawks with the points and money line.
Quick look at NBA again. Pelicans certainly playing a lot better basketball right now, but I look for the Rockets to kind of put the hammer down in this one. I think we're getting good value here, only laying 4 points on the road. I like the Rockets in that one. I also like the Nuggets a lot against the Kings. I really hate the Sacramento Kings these days. I just think that this team's, these guys, I think that of all the bad teams in the NBA, I think the Kings and the Timberwolves could easily be the worst. The Kings are they're just bad, There's the bad team. You look at who they lost to, and I think that to me is the big one. It's like they lost to the Knicks, they lost to the Pelicans, Timberwolves. You're going nowhere fast. I could see a coaching change. Anyways, let's do a recap. Or Chris, you have any NBA or college hoops you want to talk about?
There were 3 college games I was looking at for today. I like Stanford +5.5 against Kansas. I like Navy +17 against Virginia, and I like Alabama -6.5 against Richmond.
I definitely like the Stanford play against Kansas. Stanford's a pretty good team. They don't get a lot of credit, so they're not on TV a bunch. Kansas is super good and, probably a Final Four team this year. But I just think it's a bad spot for them in this game. I'm with you there. I think that Alabama game is going to be a tough one. And I think that Navy-Virginia, I kind of like Virginia in that one. I think that one, the under, is my play, even though it's only 100 points. 98, it's now. Under. 98. How about you, Rod? Anything else on the board here besides what we've gone over?
Give me West Virginia +6.5.
That game's already started.
Yeah. So then we won't take that one. Is the Michigan game started? Give me the giant number. I think Michigan and cover the -23.
Nope, that's 2 o'clock Eastern against UMass Lowell.
Give me that one. I'm going to go opposite. I like Kansas today. And I like St. Louis -14 in college hoops. A couple NBA. I like Raptors -4. I like Dallas today. Give me Dallas +4. And I like the Houston -4. It's only 3 NBA I'm playing today.
I also like Harvard against Cal. Cal stinks, man. They stink. I mean, they're bad. They're Harvard of the West. Today they're going to see Harvard of the East. They're going to lose. All right, that's what's going to happen in that one. They're going to lose bad. I think they're in big trouble there. I like Indiana against Arkansas. Arkansas is like, both these teams, they never play on the road. It's like, I mean, this is like the University of Florida's football schedule. It's like, how do you play this many games and have this few road games? How is that even possible? These teams seem to do it, and when they go on the road, they get slaughtered. And so Arkansas's on the road here. You gotta like the Hoosiers in this one. I love the way Alabama's playing right now too against Richmond. And I said this in my video about this game. There's no other way to see a team play beyond their wildest expectations than if I badmouth them in a video. It just seems that the more I pan a team, the more that they'll come around and bite me in the ass, and Alabama has done that to me enough times that I'm ready to jump ship, and I'm on the Crimson Tide in this game. They've won 4 of their last 5. They've covered 5 in a row. Richmond is a good team, but they're just in a horrible spot here in Tuscaloosa. I'm going to take Alabama in that one as well. And I think that's about it for me for the college hoops of the games that didn't start. Everything else, I've done a ton of videos, and I'm going to have a lot of videos this week because we have weekday daytime sports going on. I don't know if you guys are going to be back with me tomorrow. There's no hockey tomorrow.
There's one game tomorrow.
One game tomorrow.
So, I don't know. Got 4 college football bowl games tomorrow as well, and tons of college hoops and NBA. I'll have tons of videos on it. But let's start with the recap. Chris, lead us there.
All right, well, start with the hockey. I like Winnipeg +165 over St. Louis. I like Ottawa in regulation +115 against New Jersey. Columbus in regulation at -110 against Chicago. Minnesota -115 against the Islanders. Boston -1.5 against Buffalo at +110. I like Detroit +1.5 against Tampa Bay at +125. Florida -125 against Montreal. Dallas -104 against Arizona, and Anaheim -110 against Philadelphia. Vancouver +170 against Calgary. I have 2 hockey parlays. I got a puck line parlay. Bruins -1.5 and Senators -1.5 at +491. And an underdog parlay, Jets and Canucks money line on both at +628. NFL, I like the Chiefs, the Dolphins, Carolina, Minnesota, Atlanta to pick them. I like Cincinnati with the points and money line. Jets on the money line. Green Bay, Washington, Arizona, the Giants points and the money line. Titans, Jaguars, Broncos, Ravens, and Seattle with the points and the money line. 3-team money line parlay, Jets, Bengals, and Seahawks at +926. And for the college hoops, I like Stanford +5.5 against Kansas, Navy +17 against Virginia, and Alabama -6.5 against Richmond.
Rod?
All right, we'll start with NHL. I like the Blues on the puck line. I like Columbus on the money line, Ottawa on the money line and the puck line. I like the Wild on the money line. Panthers, I think, are going to beat up on Montreal. Panthers on the puck line. Boston on the puck line. Detroit on the puck line +1.5. I think they keep it close here. Dallas on the money line and the puck line. Flyers, I think, go into the Ducks and beat them up today. Give me Flyers on the puck line, Flames on the puck line. 3-teamer in hockey. I'm going with Ottawa on the puck line, Flames on the puck line, Dallas on the puck line, +21.97. College hoops, I like Michigan -23. I like Kansas. NBA, I'm going with the Raptors. -4, Dallas +4, Houston -4. NFL, I like Jets on the money line. I like the Saints to cover the giant number. Denver to cover the number. Give me the Bengals on the money line, the Seahawks on the money line, Ravens on the money line, the Packers to cover the giant number. Atlanta -1.5. What was the other one? The Eagles. Give me the Eagles -6.5 on an alternate line, +138. I think they can win by a touchdown there. And I'm going to go with a money line 3-teamer in NFL. We'll go with the Bengals, Seahawks, Ravens, +888.
All right, Steve.
Just talk the NFL. I'm going to take the Redskins in the points, 13.5. I love the Jets now. Buffalo's got nothing to play for, so they're getting 1.5. I'll take the Jets. Cincinnati Bengals. They're home. I'll get the 3 points against a dysfunctional Cleveland team. I love the Packers to cover. They got too much to play for. The Chiefs, I love to cover against the Chargers, 9.5. I'm going to take a flyer on the Bears. Minnesota's got nothing to play for. It's only a point. I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins. I think the spread's a little too much for New England, 16 points. I think the Dolphins will, show up and give them a game. Love the Atlanta Falcons down in Tampa. In fact, I love the over here at 48. I think a lot of points will be scored in this game. I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints to cover 13.5 at Carolina. I like the Denver Broncos at home against the Raiders, 3.5. I'll take the Arizona Cardinals playing the Rams. I'll take the points, +7.5. I got to think the Eagles beat the Giants by more than the spread, so +3.5 there. Colts, Jaguars got nothing to play for. I'll take the Colts down in Jacksonville. The Ravens, I'll take at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tennessee Titans, I love going to Houston. Houston's got nothing to play for either, so Tennessee's got to win to get in, so I see them. I love that. And Seattle, I love at home against the San Francisco 49ers. And for my parlay, I'll take the Tennessee Titans, the Tampa Bay Atlanta over at 48, and the Eagles +3.5 against the New York Football Giants.
Took the Dolphins on the money line. I took the, even though I took the Patriots in my video, I just think that maybe you take the Patriots and lay the points and bet the Dolphins on the money line there as a small hedge. Took the Carolina Panthers against the Saints. I don't like the Saints going outdoors, and I think the only issue here for the Panthers is I think the Saints might get some good calls in that game. I like the Falcons against the Bucs. I like the Redskins money line against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are just a bad team, and I think Jason Garrett's going out, so I might as well send him out the way that he's been there most of his time in a very disappointing loss. I like the Cardinals against the Rams. I think they cover. I don't think they win. I like the Jets, Jets, just so they'll have to suffer another year with Gase there. I like the Colts a little bit. I like Denver a little bit. I like the Ravens a little bit. Stanford under in the Virginia Navy game. I mean, when you see a total at 98, they're begging you to take the over. If they're on one side, if the world's on one side, I'm on the other, right? I mean, everybody knows that. I like Alabama because they've wronged me so many times going against them, and I like Harvard against Cal because Cal, terrible. I think it's a team that when we can get into Pac-12 play, if we can get some reasonable expectations on the Bears, we could probably make some good money betting against them, especially like against Oregon or something, right? Just kind of sit back and watch Arizona blast the crap out of them. I like the Lakers against the Mavs, and I like the Rockets here against the Pelicans team, who's certainly playing improved hoops. And I think it's worth a little college basketball parlay here with Stanford and Harvard. So I gave out a parlay for NFL already. So you guys have that. But anyways, going to bring everyone back real quick for the Beverly Hillbillies goodbye. It was good seeing everybody. Be sure to hit the thumbs up. And I'll see you guys at halftime of the early games. Of course, they don't go at halftime all at the exact same time, but I might not be there when the first game goes to the half. But by the time you see that a few games are at the half, I'll definitely be on. So if you don't get the notification, I don't want to say I didn't get the notification, because you know that we'll say that by the time the third game goes to the half, I'll be on. And then I'll be live also at halftime of the second games and live at halftime of the Seahawks 49ers game. This is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to probably be getting my board together, be doing all my videos most of the morning. So I'll see you guys later on. Steve, Puck Dogs, thank you guys. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week as far as weekend shows, because we don't have an NFL. We just have 2 games each day. And I don't know. Is there college games even next Saturday? I don't know if there is or not. I think there is. There'll be big college basketball stuff. We'll figure it out. We always do. Anyways, it's always a work in progress. It's like in my other site, it was like 12 years in. It's like we're just a work in progress, and we just go with the flow. I'll see you guys later on. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for all the thumbs up, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.